This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, discounted prices, miniaturemarket.com.
Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. Pretty soon, June 13th through 17th is the Origins Game Fair in Columbus, Ohio. It's the second largest board game in North America. So I've already done one video, which was the top 10 most anticipated games that are actually releasing at Origins. And if you have not seen that yet, I'll place a link below the description of this video so you can check them out. Today, I'm going to be talking about 10 games that you need to check out at Origins that I've already played. Now these typically, if I hadn't already played them, they would have been on my list of most anticipated, but since I've already played them and many of these I've already reviewed somewhat very recently, I want to put them on a list because I don't want them to be omitted. I want you to check these out. In fact, the most anticipated list I already did tends to get the most views, but honestly, this video is the one that I think has the most merit and the most weight, the ones that you should hold the most because these are the ones that are tried and true. I've already played and reviewed, you should check them out. Now I try to make most of these be ones that are for sale there, and from what I've gathered, it appears that 8 of the 10 that I'm about to talk about, you can actually go there and buy, and the other 2 you can demo, but I really want you to check them out because I've recently reviewed them and played them. So here we go.
Number 10.
Number 10, this is called Critical Mass. It's coming out from Arcane Wonders. This is a 2-player tactical card game. There's a couple of different themed versions of this. There's one like the US versus Russia, and then there's one that's more of sort of fantasy and mechs and stuff. So this is one of those games where you're trying to basically predict what the other player is doing, and you're using very tactical card play to build your mech up to try to beat the other one down. Now, I actually had a chance to play this a couple years ago at BGG-Con. It actually wasn't even called Critical Mass back then, but I got to play it with the designer. Now again, many things may have changed from then, but even back then the game was really good, and I like 2-player tactical card games, and if you like those, this is going to be one to check out because it was good even when I saw it, and I can only imagine it's even better since 2 years since before it, since I've played it. The art on this looks amazing. Arcane Wonders puts out great products, so Critical Mass at the Arcane Wonders booth.
Number 9.
The next one is sort of a very dexterity-like party game from Thames and Cosmos called Drop It. This is fun. It's up to 4 players, or you can play teams where you can go back and forth, and you're trying to drop these different shapes into this sort of like Price is Right Plinko thing, where you're dropping squares and circles and triangles, and they're different colors. And it seems very simple, and it is, but it's very fun, very engaging, lots of good table presence. You drop these different shapes in there, and if you touch a shape of the same type, or you touch any shape of the same color, you score nothing. There's also some ends going all the way up, and at the very bottom, there's certain things that you also can't touch, and those vary by game. So again, it looks like one of those things that's like, oh, this is super simple, you just drop something. There actually is some decent strategy to this as to which ones you drop, when do you do it, where do you place them, are you gonna press your luck and think you can get it not to touch that thing to get big points? There's also some small circles in the actual plexiglass there, or the clear plastic, where if your piece touches that, you get extra points. So there is some strategy game there, but it is a light game, but it's really fun, and I love doing the team versus team game in this too. It's one that's really quick to check out, and I recommend you doing that. Drop It at the Thames and Cosmos booth.
Number 8.
All right, the next one is Names XXL. So this is basically a giant version of Names. Now, the version that I reviewed actually was mainly for retailers, where they actually had Codenames, Codename Pictures, and Codenames Duet all together. This one is just Names XXL, just the original Codenames. So. But it is fun. It's huge. It fits on the table. It's great when you're having large groups play this together, especially at conventions like Origins. It's also great for players that are a little bit older or have trouble seeing, because you can definitely see the words on the grid a lot better and easier. And it's always great to have giant-sized versions of games. Codenames is awesome. It's one of my favorite party games for sure. It's actually even one of my favorite games of all time. But to have a larger version of this is very cool, especially at conventions. Go check out Names XXL at the CGE Chex Game Edition booth.
Number 7.
The next one is Steamrollers. This is now being brought to us by Stronghold Games. This is a roll and write game that sort of takes the 18XX style game where you have a train, you're trying to deliver goods from one city to the next city, but it's a roll and write game where it's quick and easy. I mean, you're done in 30 to 45 minutes, but you feel like you've played a full Euro game when you've done this. There's different things that happen. There's lots of different variants that you can play with, special abilities at the beginning, and then special contracts that you got to fulfill and try to not just press your luck, but get there faster than everybody else. This is one of the best roll and writes I've played in a long time, and it's fantastic. You really feel like you've played a full board game when you're done. It's going to be at the Stronghold Games booth. Check out Steamrollers.
Number 6.
And speaking of roll and writes, I like this one as much as Steamrollers. These two are becoming, if not already, two of my favorite roll and write games. This one is called Welcome To. This is a game that basically you are creating a beautiful neighborhood. And it's not a roll and write, but essentially a flip and write, because you're using cards instead of dice, but you're taking these numbers and a special ability that comes along with that card, and you're deciding which one of those sets you want to take for that round. But over the course of the game, you're doing all sorts of different things. It's sort of like a point salad, where you might want to go after building a bunch of parks and ramp up those scores, or be placing pools in all the right spots, or by making fences in all the right areas and making certain amount of streets with the right amount of houses to get these goals that score you a lot of points. There's like 3 other ways to score points in this game. It's amazing. If you like point salad games and you like roll and writes, this game is fantastic. You can play it with as many players as you want, because everyone can just pick the same thing or different. It doesn't matter. Wow, it's a really thematic roll and write that looks amazing. And finally, Deepwater Games is bringing it, because up until now, I actually had to buy mine from Europe because I loved it so much. I just spent the money to import it. But now Deepwater Games will have it at Origins. So check this one out. It's called Welcome To.
Number 5.
The next one is a reaction game called Nut So Fast. It's all about nuts like walnuts and pistachios. This is one of those games this is one of my favorite, if not my favorite, reaction game now. This game completely replaced a popular one called Ghost Blitz for me, where there's reaction, but there's still time to think about what you're supposed to be doing. You're watching when everyone flip up cards, and when certain combinations come up, everyone has to try to grab this specific nut in the middle of the table. And man, it starts off all nice, and then as the game goes on, it gets really mean, and people are really like competitive trying to go after these nuts. But there's one type of combination that can allow you to just wipe away all your points. Points are bad in this game. It is fantastically fun, especially at conventions. Plays up to 6 players. I did a full playthrough of this. I'm going to try to put links to all these reviews of the things that I've played here in the description of this video, so check those things out as well. But Not So Fast, a really fun sort of party light reaction game that does have some thinkiness to it as well.
Number 4.
Now the next one is one of the few, there's only 2 of them here, that I've already played that is not for sale, but you'll be able to go play it. This is going to be at the Bezier Games booth. 1 Week Ultimate Werewolf. If you guys liked One Night Ultimate Werewolf at all, if you like social deduction games, this kind of takes that idea of a social deduction game, which are usually cards and everything's played above the table, and takes that, it kind of splits it between half the game's really played up above the table and half of it's played on the table, because this is a full-fledged board game where you have cards, you're managing cards in your hand, you're playing specific cards, sometimes face up, sometimes face down, and lying about what you're playing, and then manipulating your person on the board to do different things, activate different rooms. It merges together the werewolf universe and the Mad King Ludwig universe. It's a very interesting take on that social deduction and blending these 2 universes together, but making it a full-fledged board game. So even if you didn't like the card games of Ultimate Werewolf and things like that, if you like social deduction in general, you're going to want to check this one out because it has more of a gamery aspect to it.
Number 3.
The next is a 2-player tactical game. This is going to be at the Renegade Games booth. This is called Prowlers Passage. This is designed by Alex Cavern, who's also done things like Gold West, World's Fair 1893, Sentient. It is a fantastic sort of point salad tactical game that's 2 players, 1 against 1. You're basically trying to have influence over different parts of the city, and it's very much a tug of war, but like you're tugging a war of 5 different aspects of the city at a time. You're placing tokens, which are allowing you to move up and down tracks, which will then you score different ways depending on which tracks you're on, or you're better at each of the ways throughout the game. Every game feels different because there's different tiles, there's different ways things are laid out. The tokens are double-sided, lots of replayability here. If you like 2-player tactical games that take 30 minutes or so, that have very simple rules but have a ton of depth and a ton of replayability, this one's a no-brainer. Go check out Prowlers Passage.
Number 2.
The number 2 is a game that I've reviewed and I actually bought from Europe, but it's now going to be at Origins. They're going to be flying some copies in. It's called The Mind. This is one of the most interesting cooperative games. It's now also nominated for the Spiel des Jahres. I'm hoping it's going to win because it was my favorite of the 3. This game is fantastic. It's a cooperative game where you're trying to get rid of all your cards, but the trick is you can't talk. All you can do is use body language and timing, and you literally have to become one mind. I know it sounds wacky. It is sort of a wacky idea. It feels like no other game I've ever played. It's just one of those experience games. You're probably either going to love it or hate it, but many people love this game, including me. So this is called The Mind. Again, I'll put the review in the description here that you can go check out as well, and that's going to be at the Pandasaurus Games booth.
Number 1.
My number 1 game that you should check out that I've already played. In fact, I just reviewed it and did a rule school where I teach you how to set up and play the game so that you don't have to read the rule books yourself. And that is called Spy Club. This is from Renegade Game Studios. It's going to be at their booth. Now, this is one of the 2 games in this list that is not going to be for sale. It's not coming out till like another month or so. I think July, mid-July, it's going to be coming out. But this is a cooperative game that you're working together as neighborhood kids trying to solve crimes together. It's basically a game of interesting actions and hand management where you're trying to get the right cards of certain aspects like the object, the motive, the suspect, the weapon, but you're working together with other people to try to put them together. But this game is a puzzle. It is really fun. It has a ton of replayability, and the best thing is it has this thing called a mosaic campaign where you can unlock up to 40 different modules and have every game be completely different. The gameplay plays the same, but there's all these different little mini games and things that comes out. It's not a legacy game because it's replayable. You can stop and save campaigns. You can bring people in. You can take them out. It's very flexible, but it's amazing. So go check out my review for that one and make sure you go play this at Origins. All right, well, I hope this pointed you in a good direction of the games that I've played that I like the most that are going to be releasing at Origins, or possibly, as I mentioned, 2 of them will be demoing at Origins. I've placed the links for all of these, my reviews of them, below me in the description of the video so you can learn a little bit more about them. Until next time, I've been the Game Boy Geek, helping you find and enjoy the next board game you'll love. And if you like this channel and you want to see the next and last installment of my top 10 videos for Origins, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it.
This video was sponsored by Miniature Market's Review Corner. The Review Corner features podcasts, video, and written game reviews by gamers for gamers. Miniature Market, the online gaming superstore. Thousands of board games, discounted prices. Check them out at miniaturemarket.com.